beats, play those beats, play those beats, play those beats, play those beats.
Deconstruction, 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 deconstruction.
DJs emerge from just being disc jockeys into musicians who are starting to act as composers and producers. And within the last 10 years or so, the level of the musicianship in DJs has been really drastically increased and has to be taken seriously by the old world of musicians.
Coming real, it's the next episode.
With Joel and drum and bass, I was living with the notion that it was music that couldn't be really played. It was just at some point I realized while I was editing samples and we're trying to get some beats happening, I just remembered that actually I am the drummer and maybe I should try to play those beats. And we just made that attempt of like setting up the kit, put a couple of mics on and try to play that beat, and that worked. It was like, wow. I took the term reverse engineering from computer engineering when Compaq wanted to create an operating system that was identical with the one that IBM had. But they knew that was outlawed. So they had to come up with an alternative process that led to the same result. By reverse engineering electronic music, which basically mean arrive at the same sound, but by not producing it electronically, you create a new syntax in music, which literally has to lead to new forms of expressions. DJs were always looking for that machine that was hidden somewhere like behind the drums, because they just couldn't believe that a drummer can play that fast. I think that's really bull, and Tony Williams or Buddy Rich played 3 times as fast as the fastest sped up triple time aim break 50 years ago. Jungle drumming is not a matter of speed, it's a matter of texture and knowing the music. It's a matter of style. It was really hard to find just a handful of people that would understand the rules of electronica and could actually play and apply that texture so it would be respectful to the craft and not just doodle some jazz lines over some break beats. That's not what I wanted to do.
Right, dynamite, make you jump aside tonight. Spectacular, vernacular, because we got can't resist. What's the ride?
Tonight we have a special treat. We've got Jojo Mayer's Nerve. They're a live drum and bass act. Well, obviously, the three of you all have a serious background in improvised and free music. I mean, the set we heard tonight, how much of that was improvised? Because it seemed to me, just listening to it, that it seemed very, the changes were all very set and, I mean, okay.
We just made that up from beginning to end.
I want to use the textures because the textures are structurally very open and open up that space where creative interaction on stage can happen. So people could actually start to identify again with an act. Like, oh, this is someone who's creating something right now.
Jojo is really bringing a heavy-duty sense of validity to the music as a genre. Do you know what I mean?
I'm using Rudy Giuliani as a sound engineer. He's more than a sound engineer because he really interacts with the band. As far as like real-time dubbing, he constantly changes the sound. He puts effects on my drums. He edits the bass, he adds low end, so it's almost, he makes mixed sounds as we speak, which is really a new territory for both musicians and sound engineers.
Well, it's a whole concept. I try to make the mixing desk an instrument, so where the members of the band is input and I control the output, and I take pieces they play and reassemble them, delay them, feed them back. They react to it and I take it away, and then so I'm kind of deconstructing their brains too.
We twist knobs and we keep plugging away at what we're doing, and pay the rent, that's good.
And we always have people just coming by and then sitting, because I like to have that sort of like open-ended character, almost like the bebop sessions like they used to have at the Birdland in the 50s.
Believe it or not, I play a lot of smooth jazz and I play a lot of, jazz.
Right.
And believe me, it gets old to play for those kind of audiences. So this is a whole new thing. It's like it's all obviously a DJ culture and people are attracted to that.
If the question is what Nerve is doing jazz, or is Nerve a jazz band, I would say yes, because it's basically improvisational music, and it's almost taking the elements of dance music and bringing them into a jazz idiom while still respecting it. Jazz at its most popular time was dance music. It was the popular music of its day. Phil Schaff can tell you a lot more about that than I can.
Jazz requires, as an identity, a rhythmic lilt, which has nothing to do with speed. It's often played in a fixed tempo, but at any speed, it either has this rhythmic accent that is recognizable and deemed swing, or it doesn't. And Ellington, I'm using both Louis Armstrong and Duke Ellington as my associates here in answering the question, Ellington told you, it don't mean a thing if it ain't got that swing.
Jazz is completely dead, and so is rock and roll, and so is most of the music that has been turned into a business. It's not breathing anymore, and I can feel a lot of spirituality or like willingness to evolve and to create new things amongst those DJs.
Brooklyn! Jam Boogie Jam, Manhattan, Queens, Shaolin, New Jersey. Anybody else from New York City here right now, make some noise.
There's no one in jazz that's really speaking for my generation right now. There's jazz musicians I respect, but But the people who are ultimately gonna go down in my books when I'm old, and the ones I'm gonna talk about are the people who I dance to, who I scream to.
Hit it with the moves, yeah! Prohibited style! We bring it back to wild style! New York City!
We want to be able to play a role just as a fan, like at a good drum and bass night. I really feel like me and my friends, if we weren't there, it couldn't have possibly gone down the same way.
You dictate the agenda inside the jungle drum and bass arena. New York City, right now, make some noise. Keep the level moving forward. Put your hands up in the air. All the junglers in New York everywhere. So come on, now. This one going on the down. Stepping up inside the place. Picking it up with my crowd. What I do in my face. Dropping up with moving bass. Is everybody ready? Put some beers to your face.
I love jazz, but I'll be damned if I'm gonna pay $25 to sit down at the Blue Note and listen to someone talk over their dinner and not even know who's playing.
You can't just say, okay, drum and bass is hot, I'm gonna make an album and just do like a simple two-step beat. You know, you really have to kind of have an understanding, or you should have an understanding if you're gonna be a live drum and bass drummer, and have an appreciation of the music.
I think it's harder to break into a scene like drum and bass than pop music. It's street level, you know, you have to sort of pay your dues, you know, before you can just, you know, come out and, you know, be a part of the scene. Mainly kids want to keep things for themselves. They don't want it to go mainstream. Do you understand? They want it for themselves, like, oh, this is mine, you know what I mean? I can't share this with anybody.
But I never saw it as being an outsider to that territory.
We're the best.
We used to destroy both the videotape and the recorder by, like, you know, fast forwarding and slow motion to movies like Wild Style, and I mean, we were so into that, and not just me, but, you know, all my friends.
Please, Mr. Grand Wizard, please give it to the jet set, young ladies.
I wasn't seeking the appreciation of the scene. I just did something because I had to do it. You know, the aim and break, I heard that when I was 5 years old. The music triggered something in me emotionally that I liked, and I felt it. It was really formed a piece of my musical spine.
The future.
You sit and watch the man play, man. He's dope. He came more tighter, more funkier. You know what I mean?
I'm only using a window of opportunity to introduce stuff that I learned over the last 20 years that people don't want to hear at a jazz concert anymore. We're interested in what's going to happen next. We're not necessarily here to represent New York drum and bass, but we're here to represent the spirit.
Just a lonesome babe in the woods. Oh lady, oh lady, oh lady, be good. Diddly did to
Please welcome Jojo Mayer. From Zurich, Jojo Mayer on the drums. You know, how did you do that?
The left hand?
Yes.
Any more questions? Really, the discussion is not really why did I stop playing jazz to submerge into the underground and start playing techno or hip hop or drum and bass. It's more that in the music that was labeled jazz, I didn't recognize those qualities that attached me to the music. I could find those qualities in drum and bass, or more precisely, I could apply those qualities in drum and bass. I needed to have a weekly party in order to formulate and work on the concept.
So we're trying to find a space that has a good live stage for a live band and just a good sound system and a good club, and those are hard to find in New York City right now, downtown.
It was really hard to find club owners that will go like, oh yeah, sounds great, just go ahead, I'll give you a night every week. We started at a small club called the Izzy Bar. It was the only place in town that actually gave me a chance. Luckily, it caught on really, really fast. I mean, within a couple of weeks or months, the buzz was incredible.
I heard him play numerous times. I couldn't believe how incredible the live sound was and how good his skills were.
We're kids sitting at home on our samplers, banging out beats, and here he's doing it live, like with so much finesse and skill that, people come from London, they're like, oh my God, I can't believe this.
And then I realized that I was probably onto something. So we did it for a couple of months. It became quite popular, and we needed a bigger space, and we moved into Shine every Tuesday, and the party now is called Prohibited Beatz.
I would literally base my schedule around Prohibited Beatz, make sure I fly back in for Prohibited Beatz, and everyone on the floor loved it, everybody in the club loved it.
I think the best thing for me is because I like to actually go somewhere and dance, You could just go there and the music would move you for the whole night, and dancing was absolutely effortless.
Yeah, I've tried to slowly get other people involved, other artists, performers, DJs, MCs, vocalists.
Just seeing it develop and seeing the musicians, you know, come week in, week out and always be different, always be fresh, always have these moments of just absolute brilliance, just made it something really special.
I mean, we had people coming from all over the world, you know, just for Prohibited Beatz. This is dope. There's a lot of unity here, man.
Everyone kind of sharing in his vision that the party is great and it's worth being involved and staying with it for this amount of time instead of getting a gig that might pay better.
It's bringing it to a whole new audience, a whole new group of people that wouldn't normally listen to drum and bass, and the people who do listen to drum and bass are in awe.
I remember heading over there, rubbing my hands. I had my gloves on, I had my big leather coat, I had my leather pants on, and getting there and the doors were closed. I've stayed up tonight. I've come back for this. It's not happening. And I'm wondering what to do with myself for the next 6 hours.
He was really trying to introduce some new stuff into New York, you know, a new angle, a new perspective on music, which, you know, sometimes is not the easiest way to throw a party or be successful. You know, a lot of times that's not the way to be successful in New York at all.
Although we had a lot of people coming to our party, a lot of the drum and bass crowds is not a heavy drinking party. And a lot of the kids that made the party fun, they had a beer or two and that's it. Doing this in an environment of kind of like a velvet rope type of place like Shine, they really expected more of like the champagne bucket type of audience.
It's basically Jojo had some serious overhead.
And my name is Jojo Mayer, and I'm trying to keep it all going and play drums, and I'll pay everybody at the end of the night.
Are there models at a party as opposed to what kind of music is being played?
Prohibited Beatz became more attractive after Kate Moss was spotted there, and it was like, oh wow, if Kate Moss is there, the music must be really good.
There's a really significant part of New York that waits for other people to tell them what they should be listening to. And for some reason, there weren't certain tastemakers telling these people this is what you need to check out, because there wasn't any commercial interest pushing it. There weren't record label publicists being like, oh, Jojo this, Jojo that.
A lot of times what happens with press is people write about people who've been written about.
Young people, you know, who move to this town believing that somehow this is the venue on which one is going to spawn one's sort of creative interests, and soon find out that they're going to be sadly disappointed. This is not the right place to be, unfortunately, right now.
The problem in New York is there's very limited choices to go, and if you do get a venue that has a decent sound system and holds more than 200 people, you can only get a Monday or Tuesday.
But then there's no dancing.
You have to have an understanding that you need a license to have people to have dancing in your club. That literally, if you do not have a cabaret license and people are dancing in your club, if you don't tell them to stop or you don't put up a sign saying there's no dancing allowed, cops can come in, give you a fine, close down your club, take away your liquor license.
The cabaret codes were always unconstitutional, and clearly in 1911 were not an attack on jazz or hip-hop or disco or anything, since none of those musics, jazz would be the closest to an extant music in 1911. What it is a crackdown on fun.
I've been threatened by the police that, you know, if I'm a live MC, I'll get you going like a uptown preacher. Yeah, jump for the Lord. You know what I mean? I mean, why should I get arrested, you know what I mean, for a party that I'm just, you know, making cab fare at?
Well, what we had to do was basically create a non-dance floor where there is a dance floor. So we had to put up tables, some chairs, right smack dab in the middle of the dance floor.
I think a lot more people in the past couple of years that maybe don't go out that much are hearing about this and are like going to a bar and maybe, you know, shaking their ass and then being told that they're not allowed to. And then they're like, what?
I have to, you know, frequently employ an extra security guard to basically stand in the middle of the room and try and explain to people as reasonably as possible that not only can you not dance, but if you persist in dancing, we're going to get closed down. Well, what we're dealing with is basically a situation here akin to maybe running a comedy club and being told that your audience isn't allowed to laugh.
The theme of this is New York swings back. We have a big task ahead of us as we rebuild, and we need to rebuild in a way which assures the place of fun, of music and dance in our city, which includes reform and change of the cabaret laws. It's ridiculous.
People should be encouraged to go and dance, man, because living in a city like New York, you need to vent out all that frustration and stress.
I think the crackdowns started at this juncture because they found that these cabaret codes still on the books could take on nightclubs and do them damage. I mean, there'd be periods where, you know, it was important to have an active nightclub scene so that the powers that be laid off. But they put hands on when the thing they want is calm or an absence of fun or restrictions for whatever reason. And the net gain was it crushed the live performance nightclub scene in New York City of the mid-price range. So, understandably, we want the bandstand to be replenished, but it is replenished. The gigs are going away. The audience to listen is gone.
Our bass player got stuck in the snow. And I hope you like it.
In retrospect, at this point, I feel that break was a blessing in disguise, because since we stopped the party, it allowed me to revamp and revisit everything that we did over the last 4 years. And just now, I'm actually getting aware of certain things and certain creative potential that are going to be able to use to create something even bigger and better. And we are going to be coming back really hard. And I think it's going to be really incredible. And I'm more excited than I ever was about the whole thing. And does this sound like a person in denial?
This is the sound.
Bass Act, Tim LaFavor on bass, and Jojo Mayer on drums. New York City, make some noise inside. Yeah, that's how we like it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, live drum and bass, there is no other place.